All right. Well, we're back again. Episode 2.
Hey everybody, it's Scares here.
Again with the
Oh
same
my
jokes.
god.
So, after last episode, we have fixed the audio issue with it being a little quiet. Um,
Oh
made
boy.
sure that it's not going to be a problem this time. Uh, how's everybody doing since last episode?
Fucking. I
I'm
mean,
sleepy.
Same as 4 days ago.
yeah.
Not so much, blown AC,
Yeah, right.
no water pump.
Constant headache.
That's
It is
not
a nice,
good.
60-something degrees.
I'm
That
too
is
broke
true.
to afford food.
And hospital bills.
I smoked a cigar yesterday.
Man,
That's nice.
what a fun troop.
What kind of cigar?
It was a tabac. It tasted like coffee.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't smoke cigars unless somebody has cigars, in which case I'll smoke a cigar.
Mm.
Well, welcome back to the GTM podcast, where we occasionally talk about what we want to talk about. Today we have a list of stuff to get through. We're going to start off with our games section, seeing as it is the first topic of the day. So, with our first topic, me and Yanni, over the past couple days, been playing Star Citizen, getting to enjoy the Invictus launch week.
Launch week?
Launch week, yeah. What have you thought about it so far, Yanni?
I think it's pretty cool. They opened up a lot of the station.
Right.
God, what forgot what station is it at? It's at
The
Microtech
the space station or the planet?
Planet. The
Yeah,
Planet Microtech.
the planet is Microtech. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so they opened up a lot at the station at Microtech. There is um there's like whole new entrances and pathways and different areas you can go to. They do have like an entire bar open, full party area. They do have a bridge going out to ships that you can get a tour through.
That I think that's at
And
the space station.
is that at the space? Oh yeah, that is at the
Yeah.
space station. You're right.
So the
And then it's down on. Oh yeah, and then they do the flybys in the space station. On the ground, they have the fireworks.
Yeah, on the ground they have like in Microtech. What I can't remember what I think it's called New Babbage. That's the city. On in the city, you go down to like the expo center, and inside the expo center, you have like the what do you call it? Like a giant like expo hall where like they have whatever ships are being hosted that day, and you get to go through each individual hall and see like these massive ships that you can rent for free for 2 days during the event, and they had different ship industries being hosted daily, or not daily, but every 2 days. And when we played, it was let me see, I have it pulled up right here. It was Robert Space Industries, Origin, uh, Consolidated Outland, and Argo. Whereas today and yesterday we have Aegis Dynamics. And before we hop into the Aegis Dynamics thing, let's talk a little bit more about the what was it like to experience the hall for the first time? Because it was my first expo inside of Star Citizen. I know it was your first one too. What did you think of the entire experience?
Found it pretty interactive. Um, Overall, I feel like they can fill the rooms a bit more.
Right.
When you first get to the beginning of it, it seems really nice because they have two like accessory shops you can go to, which is very nice. But once you get to the elevators, it just opens up into an enormous expo, but it's fairly empty. You kind of have a room with several large ships,
Of course.
and then it branches off into other rooms that don't feel so full.
Yeah. So for those of you, real quick segment. If for those of you who listen to the audio podcast, you won't see the video of it, but currently, Matt is hosting a video presentation of all the things that we're going to talk about. So currently we're looking at some gameplay of Star Citizen. Someone is flying the Constellation Taurus, I think, and that was one of the ships available yesterday during the event, or not yesterday, but the day before. And I personally like that ship a lot more than any of the other ones that they were showing off. It's
This
just
is actually a developer playing.
okay. So this is a dev.
Yes.
Okay. I was about to say because that planet looks really cool, and I haven't seen that planet in game yet, and I really want to go look at it. But now that I know it's a dev, it's probably not in game yet. But a lot of the ships that they have on the show floor, like I said, are available for free for 2 days. You get to rent them for 2 days, and the Expo Center does give you the opportunity to see ships that aren't currently in game and allow you to fly them around, see how you like them, and it also gives you an opportunity to look at holograms of giant ships that aren't available for you to fly, but will be available in the future. One of the other cool things that they have is at space stations you have these giant like frigates that you can go inside and get a small tour of. And me and Yanni, we got to go look at the inside of one, and it was really interesting to see like how the ship has like a giant mess hall. It has a huge line of beds for all the crew members. You also get like really cool interactive tour guides that actually like give you what feels like a realistic approach to like an actual tour guide, just telling you like, oh, this is our mess hall, this is what we do. Most times
You
we
kind
eat
of
and
get
stuff.
a little bit of history on the ships and the crew.
Yeah. And I think what one of the cooler aspects of it was when you look at the basically just like experiencing the entire event as a whole, it doesn't feel like it's just like a regular video game event where it's like, oh, double XP. It feels like it's an actual like it's like a parade. Like there's different things going on. There's like fireworks going on. There's flybys. The military's there and they're showing off all their cool shit. It's a really interesting way to approach a an event for a game of this size, and I find it pretty interesting to see that that's the approach that they're taking to the events in the game as a whole. Um, if you're at all curious about the events currently, the events in game for ships that you can fly around right now, we have the let's see.
You want
So
me to run down the list here?
of all the
It's
ships,
Yeah,
or
because I can say this: Aegis Dynamics is going to be the largest list,
yes,
because they have their Avenger, Eclipse, Gladius, Hammerhead, Saber, Retaliator, and Vanguard series,
right
and all the sub series in between all of those. So
now.
in total, they have about 15 to 16 ships currently right now that you can rent.
I've flown the Hammerhead yesterday, and the only thing that I have a hard time doing with it is docking because it's such a large ship that you can't just like land it at like a space station. You have to dock it at the space station, which I mean,
Sometimes I feel like you just got to send it.
right?
Just kind of just throw it down there, let it clang against the walls, and just call it done.
Yeah. The docking portion of it is it needs some work, but then again the game's not in beta even, it's still in alpha, so there's still a lot of kinks to work out. But overall, I mean, like for like we said this last podcast, but for an alpha it's not that bad. It's pretty enjoyable. There's a
Not considering the scale of the game.
yeah.
Um, just to touch on this for a second, because we're talking about Aegis Dynamics. Aegis Dynamics actually ends today. We are recording this on the 24th.
Yeah.
Aegis Dynamics running from the 23rd to the 24th, so that's yesterday and today.
Yeah.
Upcoming is Crusader, which is actually one of the smallest events. They have the Mercury Star Runner, the Hercules Starlifter C2, and Hercules Starlifter M2. Those are their 3 ships that they'll be showing from tomorrow to the 26th. So tomorrow and the day after, they'll be showing those.
Right.
And you can rent them. Renting ships is completely free during these events. for the display ships, and you do get them for 48 hours. So
Yeah.
for some, that's going to be extremely beneficial, as long as you can run the game
Yeah.
and are lucky enough to end up on a low ping server.
Yes. So looking at the layout for the next couple, I'm gonna say for the next week or so, we do have a couple. They do have a couple other industries that are going to be bringing their ships and stuff to the expo hall. So be sure to go check those out if you have the game and if you play it. Not sure what's going on with the final 48 hours, which is the final tab of the Invictus launch week. There might be some sort of special thing going on where they bring in ships from other industries. I don't know, but I feel like it'd be pretty interesting to just hop in there just to see what's going on for that last bit. I did watch a video recently of someone who was talking about the Invictus launch week, and they were saying how the final industry before the final 48 hours is Drake Interplanetary, and apparently you get a free Drake Cutlass Black, which is one of the best starter cruise ships. Like if you want to fly around with like a group of friends, it's the best one to get as your starter cruise ship. And Yana, you and I have flown around in it. I mean, we can vouch for it pretty much.
Absolutely,
It's a pretty
an
beefy
excellent.
ship.
Yeah,
But so yeah, like go ahead and check out anything you want with Star Citizen. It's definitely free. It's 100% free to play right now. Go ahead and download it if your system can handle it. You'll have a great time. They have all the ships available for free for 2 days. Go and check it out even if you don't like it. Just try it, Cuz you never know
clear up.
what you'll think.
I was gonna say, to clear up any confusion on how this game works. It is you're buying into the game. You're buying your way into the game. You do your I guess key code in a way is your ship. So you do buy a ship, you select a ship that you want. So you're essentially paying as much as your ship is worth to get yourself into the game. That ship that you purchase will always stay with you. And that's how this game works. It's not just buying the game and picking a ship. It's you're picking a ship which is giving you access into the game.
Yes.
So the free period right now is you picking out which free ship you want. That's going to be temporary. And if you do enjoy the game, then at that point you can either purchase that ship or try out any of the other ships. I think right now is probably one of the best times during these kind of events, since you can try out so many different options and it'll give you a more versatile view before buying into the game. So you
Right.
know what you'll be using more. Do you want to run freights? Do you want to do deliveries? Do you want to be more so on the fighting side, doing dogfights in space? Things like that.
Sounds like you guys are fucking sponsored.
Right. It really does. It's a huge game.
If
It's
they
a
want to
very
sponsor
huge
me,
game. I don't think there is another game on this scale of complexity.
look, if Star Citizen wants to sponsor us, I will let them.
Yeah,
I
please
don't
sponsor us.
I don't care. I will. They can sponsor me anytime.
We'll just
All
kill like
right.
11 minutes talking about him.
So next
Epic
on the
Mega
agenda,
Sale.
yeah, the mega sale.
Free game.
The free game for the Epic Mega Sale is
Nick's
NBA
favorite
2K.
series.
Shut the hell up! No, it is not. Oh my god.
NBA 2K21.
Nice video, Matt. Perfect for the Epic Mega Sale. So the free game is NBA 2K21. If you want to give your hard drive some sort of like really bad disease, go ahead and download that game. There's a couple sales going on during the mega sale, obviously, since it is a mega sale. Cyberpunk 2077 is $47.99 if you want to pick it up. That's how much it costs. Kingdom Hearts.
We should really probably discuss the NBA game. I mean, the graphics don't look as good as I thought they would.
Yeah, how many assets did they reuse from the last game?
I wouldn't know. I'm not really a sports video
How much
game
money
player.
how much money do you think they force you to pay in order to be good at the multiplayer?
$30.
No, I'm telling you, people have probably spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on this game already. I still don't understand why people buy into this scam of a game. But, whatever, to each
It's
their own.
very cut and dry when they run the same thing over and over again. It's
Yeah.
like worse than COD.
It's, like, people could say the same thing about really any game that has a sequel. It's like, why would you buy that? It's just the same game. But, the graphics may have improved, yes, but that doesn't mean it's, it's a different game entirely. Whereas, Battlefield and COD, they are both FPS shooters. Battlefield is more of a larger scale than COD is, and I can see why people like COD, whereas people would hate COD and like Battlefield more.
I feel like you're buying the new, like I guess sports-esque games every year just for the new players.
Yeah.
Which isn't. I mean, like, come on, it's not really doing anything at all. Graphics ranging from PS3 up until now, they're really not that significant. Maybe a little more sheen on the floor, but
Yeah.
honestly, like the gameplay and everything, you can only add so much.
Right.
Before it just literally gets unreal.
It's really like whatever people want to do with their money. I don't care.
But Cyberpunk though.
Yeah,
Right.
Cyberpunk is $48 right now.
So we've
Come
already
on,
talked about
man.
how I like Cyberpunk. I really don't care for the bugs. I really just wanted a game where I could enjoy my time, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time in it. So if you want to try, go ahead.
I was gonna say sometimes I actually do like bugs to be in a game because you can exploit some and have a little fun with it, but these were just intolerable, really annoying. Game resetting
Bush
worth.
bug.
Yeah, like I
Like,
wasn't.
see
Not even
bushes
bringing
and
up the textures. Not even
Hey.
bringing up the textures. I would get stuck randomly at
Yeah,
least
I'm
see,
not
those are
gonna-
game
every 20
breaking.
minutes.
I'm not gonna like vouch for the game, saying that the game's bugs were, stop. The bugs aren't that bad. No, the bugs were terrible. It was just I looked past the bugs.
Yeah,
'cause I
there were
wanted to just-
definitely
Oh.
several game breaking bugs.
I just wanted to enjoy the story, which I did. I thoroughly enjoyed the story. Besides Cyberpunk, Kingdom Hearts is $40. So, Matt, you're our local
Whoa,
Kingdom
wait,
Hearts expert.
Kingdom Hearts 3?
I think it's
Let me fact
1,
check
2,
that
and
for
3.
you. It is 3 and Remind.
Oh, Remind's like the extra DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
It's
it's
basically
3
like
and
a
Remind.
different scenario for the end of
That sale
different
ends on June 17th.
Can I just say I like this like in between thing where like we get a shot of Stanley's face.
Do you?
It's funny.
Oh shoot. Oh yeah, there you go.
But
Yeah, that's when I switch things.
so Kingdom Hearts 3 and its DLC are $40. Besides that, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, $45. If you want to be exact, it's $44.99. But I haven't played Assassin's Creed Valhalla mainly because I wasn't really interested in Assassin's Creed post what was it?
Oh,
Traumatic
Odyssey?
stress.
I forgot.
God damn it, Brian. No, I wasn't a huge fan of Odyssey. I felt like it was just trying to change the entire thing. But then again, Origins was really trying to change basically the entire way you play the game. And I wasn't a huge fan of it. Whereas this one just looks like it's a little bit more fleshed out, and I don't know. I've never my favorite one of all time is still going to be Assassin's Creed 2 because the character was likable, the story was enjoyable. This one, I can't get into Assassin's Creed anymore, but I know people who do like Assassin's Creed, so if you're interested in Assassin's Creed, it's $45 on Epic Games. Go ahead and pick it up. So, I guess that gets all of the Epic Games stuff out of the way. Let's move on to the base topic that we're going to be talking about for a little bit. The way we're going to handle the next few episodes of the podcast is we're going to cover each developer's E3 showcase, essentially, over the next couple days leading up to E3, so that way when E3 comes around, we actually have stuff to compare it to from our speculations up to what was actually talked about. So for E3, the first day we're going to have Nintendo Direct. and it's their first. It's the first day of E3. It's going to be Nintendo Direct, so we have a lot of stuff that we could see, as opposed to stuff that is really just speculation. But Breath of the Wild 2 is one of the main hitters for E3 this year. Personally, I'm hoping we actually get to see some gameplay. If not gameplay, then a extended trailer of it. Because the first game blew me away. Because I've always played, Twilight Princess and A Link to the Past. I wasn't really expecting a game of this size, and when it came out, I was able to really enjoy my time in it. So I'm kind of looking forward to the sequel. I know it took Yanni like years to beat the first game, but
I haven't beaten it. The thing is, I watched the ending, and I've always been way over prepared for running through the ending, and I've already seen the ending. There's no point in me going any further, to be honest.
right.
As far as what we might be expecting out of Breath of the Wild 2,
There's
they are
also God of War.
speculating. What's up?
There's also God of War.
That's during Sony's thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about Nintendo Direct, Brian.
Well, nobody likes Nintendo.
Brian,
Do I
just
like
because you
Nintendo?
don't like Nintendo doesn't mean everybody doesn't like Nintendo.
So,
But
Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a close clone from what we're seeing to the first one, with things changed. They want to see. So the community is looking forward to new areas and environments, improved experiences like dungeons.
me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing
Slightly more complex shrine puzzles.
I'm looking forward to
and
seeing
weapon-
Ganon.
And weapon durability options. Have a little bit more of a stable durability scale, something you can either refine things, or the rarity of a weapon makes it more, either weaker or more durable, depending
Right.
on,
Or
you
no
know.
durability.
Yeah, no durability would be absolutely outstanding. Make weapons a little scarce, and then no durability, so we're not just flooded with weapons. I think that would be even better.
Yeah, the whole thing about Breath of the Wild 2, I'm excited to see Ganon be like a human as opposed to him being this like demonic animalistic form. So with the quick trailer that we got, it looked as if though Ganon was going to be a human slash skeleton hybrid kind of thing, but I guess we'll know more once we get to that point where they show off more if they do at Nintendo Direct. So after Breath of the Wild 2, we have it's Zelda's 35th anniversary. So maybe alongside of Breath of the Wild 2, we might get some more information on a port to the Switch for an older Zelda game.
Hopefully
If that,
Majora's Mask, Wind
yeah,
Waker.
What
Wind
about Twilight
Waker.
Princess?
Absolutely.
If Twilight Princess was ported over, that'd be pretty sweet.
I don't see why not. It was for the Wii and GameCube. It's been about what 14 years.
And everything for that game holds up so well to right now.
Because I think the whole thing is that they're gonna bring Skyward Sword to the
Yeah.
Switch.
That will use the Wii Motion Plus, which was a hypersensitive um, component that you'd add to the Wii Remote for more accurate representation of how you would swing it. And I believe it was kind of like you would use the Wii Remote and slash it like you actually use the sword. I think that was the niche of that game. But I don't know if they'd actually bring back Twilight Princess, because as of late, Link's been getting more cartoony and light, and Twilight Princess was a rather dark and dreary type of game. If you've noticed, everything was kind of dark, and he was a wolf, and he was dark. It's just dark.
It does have to do with a
dark.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's fitting. I'm not saying it's bad, but
Right.
as of late, the games that have been released for Legend of Zelda have been relatively lighter and more fun in color, more of a cartoony kind of cartoon kind of
Very
comic
cel
like
shaded.
look. Very bright, very
Well,
I mean, not to sound redundant, but colorful colors.
I would say that the approach to the story is a little different. Like, it may be more colorful, yes, but like Breath of the Wild overall made me like really sad when I played it, because he woke up after 100 years of being asleep because of his injuries 100 years ago, and when he wakes up, all of his friends are dead, and the kingdom is in ruin. So like all the people that you have to go and save in the game, all that you see is their spirits. You don't actually like you don't bring them back to life. You just talk to their spirit, and that's it. And
I'll
it
get
was kind of
over it.
sad.
I mean, Aang did it for 1,000 years in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Was it 100 or 1,000? He'll get over it.
I hope so. All right, so the next one is going to be Metroid Prime 4. Now, I have no experience with Metroid whatsoever. I'm not sure if anybody in here does.
No, I know.
No.
I do not, but that
We
is
have a
something that
friend
is
who
going to be
has.
discussed.
This is Metroid Prime, just footage that I'm showing.
Now, I don't know much of anything about Metroid whatsoever, and I think the most I've ever played of Samus was in fucking Super Smash Bros. And that's it. But that's not to say that it doesn't deserve its own game. Like, I know that Metroid in general is a very big title for a lot of people, so it'd be nice to see something to make the fans of the game happy and be able to say, "Hey, we got another Metroid game coming." So, I
Maybe
mean,
more suits.
that'd be pretty nice.
Suitabilities and I wonder how an open world. I doubt it's that type of game, but a more open world instead of just being inside of a facility. More of an open world might be a nice change of pace. But I'm pretty sure that might be on the list of things that fans wouldn't want. They'd probably just like to keep it as it always has been, but not exactly a remaster.
Right. So, post Metroid Prime 4, we have Bayonetta 3. Uh, Anybody here have any experience with Bayonetta?
Other
No.
than
Ironically,
Smash.
as you stated, aside from Smash, yeah, that's basically it.
See,
I mean, I know that it was good, apparently.
I've seen I've seen gameplay of Bayonetta, and I've known people who've played Bayonetta and really enjoyed it, but I haven't really gotten into it. I haven't played them other than in Smash like everybody else, but to each their own. I mean, if Bayonetta 3 comes out and it's the game that they've been waiting for, then have fun.
I
I
feel like
personally.
I'd turn into a weeb if I play it.
You have fun staring at those amazing shoes. They keep her looking
Yeah,
tall.
yeah. The shoes.
We're here for the shoes.
Yeah. Not those tight leather pants. So after Bayonetta, we have Pokemon Legends Arceus, which most of us in here have played a Pokemon game, so Pokemon Legends Arceus is going to be a pretty cool title. Seeing it as though it's copying the Sword and Shield output of an open world style of Pokemon
Oh.
game.
I'm more excited about the Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl, though. I mean, I don't really like the look of it
Yeah,
because it's
I want
kind of
Shining
chibi.
Diamond.
It looks a little chibi, but like, I mean, for a top down, they did pretty well. I especially like the the battle. It reminds me, I don't know. It's brand new looking, of course. It's very sleek. I just think that they made the characters look a little too chibi. I'm not too much of a fan of that.
And this is coming to the Switch, or
Yeah, the Switch.
okay.
It's gonna be like that for a while, where new Pokemon games and stuff are going to the Switch. Of course, it's the newest console, but it's just so well just well made. It can hold well with graphic wise, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Just ignore me.
No, I mean it's something you're interested in, so. Well, I mean, like I'm more so interested in Arceus, to be honest.
Yeah, you like
So
the easy Pokemon.
okay, listen here, Brian.
No,
Just
I'm
because
just saying.
I like the look of it. I like the way that the world just looks like it's completely open to the player. You play it however you want to. You don't have to follow a set path. You don't have to. You're not restricted by rules. Essentially, you're set out into a world, and you're like they're just pushing you to go. You go wherever you want, get whatever you want, play it however you want, and that's the kind of game I
Ironically,
thoroughly enjoy.
ironically, that's what I like about the other ones. You have a set path to go on, and you just relax and kind of play the game as you want.
I
Yeah,
mean,
There
that's
isn't a
that's
not
sense of
bad.
restrictions.
Like, I mean, I
I
like I like Emerald. I mean, Emerald's like my favorite one outside of the newer ones, and it, the style of having it set on like a path instead of being open is fine. It's just when you give me the option to play something that's open or play something that's on a set path, I think I'd rather choose the open.
yeah.
I mean, I suppose that people have been wanting an open world Pokemon for such a long time, but I think they look a little choppy. Of course, they may polish it up before release, but I think it looks a little choppy.
It's a fair assumption because I
That's
mean
why I play Yu-Gi-Oh.
we don't really have much gameplay to go off of except for what they have, and don't even, Brian. Don't even.
Yeah, the most
Yu-Gi-Oh.
most recent Pokemon I played was Let's Go Eevee. So I'm not I can't really have too much input in here because I haven't seen the new style of Sword and Shield.
Right. I've already said this, but I like Sword and Shield. I thought it was fun. So after Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, we have Splatoon 3. I haven't played a Splatoon game ever. So
I had
I
Splatoon
can
2.
second that.
Um, honestly, it was a lot more fun. Like probably 3 or 4 times more than I had originally thought that game was going to be.
right.
That was one of the first games I actually got with the Switch, just because it's one of the games they had on discount. And I was just buying up what few games were available at launch, anyways. And Splatoon was one of like the only 14 games that were available. Um, as compared to what like the near 1,000 now,
Right.
and it's a lot of fun. The multiplayer is great. There's a lot of dynamic to the game. A bunch of different game modes. I almost get a not a Mario Party vibe. What was one of those Mario mini game?
Like,
Luigi's Mansion.
Not Luigi's Mansion. I'm trying to think.
I'll let you get back to that. You get a little buddy in this game. You see, there's a little buddy. He made his like a little fish.
Is that one of Splatoon 3?
Yeah. Oh no, it's just black.
oh, they're
Oh.
on a train.
The chicken.
Yeah, but he's having a kick-ass time. You see that?
But like very similar to how you see the abilities happen in Smash, where they go into the ring.
Right.
Like those are things you can do, which is really cool. And that's
Okay.
all multiplayer, which is, I'd say, that's definitely one of the more advanced things for Nintendo, as having such a cool interactive multiplayer like that. I am super excited to see what they do bring to Splatoon 3. One thing I will say, aiming with the controller, um, I believe is what a majority of people do. It's not too hard to aim um, with the, I don't know, like the gyroscopic sensor in the controller. It's fairly easy to aim with that. I personally don't do that just because I'm not too comfortable messing around with it. But the few times I have messed around with it, it is really easy to do. It's just not my preference.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. Overall, I look forward to the game. I think it's going to sell great. Um,
Your preference could be traced back to use of analog sticks for over 2 decades.
yeah,
The,
I prefer
whenever
manual aiming.
whenever somebody says Splatoon, the only thing I think about is that original commercial. Is you're a kid now, you're a squid now, you're a kid, you're a squid, you're a kid, you're a squid. I just that's etched
Yep.
into my brain every time I hear Splatoon. I just think about the memes that came out of it. where it's just you're a kid, you're a squid, you're a kid, you're a squid, you're a kid. It just loops over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
the original introduction to Splatoon was not that great. Splatoon 2, I feel like, is what really brought it off of its,
Kid-like nature.
yeah. It was super competitive. They have tournaments, too. I mean, the scheduling and everything it's pretty solid.
It's just weird to me that a game like Splatoon has tournaments.
Right? And, I mean, it's handled really well. It's,
I mean, hey.
it's Rocket League-like. It's not big, money grabbing or anything like that, but it's pretty up there, especially for a kid level. It's exciting.
All right. Well, now that we're done with the game section of the podcast, we can head on over to the tech section where Yanni has some interesting stuff to talk to us about. So take it away, Yanni.
Alrighty, so we have the new 24-inch Apple iMac. That's no new thing there. But now that they're actually being delivered and released, we have the packaging. They're packaged upside down. If you open them like traditional iMacs, you shouldn't be doing that. You should actually be laying them down on the larger side and folding the box open that way. Upward, not towards yourself. Because if you do that, there's an extremely high chance that the iMac will just fall onto its screen.
Right.
The packaging, as you open the box, you can grab both sides and spread those to the side, and it lifts up the iMac. Inside, you do get the fancy brick. It has an Ethernet cable on the brick. One thing I was definitely not excited to see was that there is only Type-C and Thunderbolt on the back of the iMac. So once again, you will be buying a couple dongles for it, which is slightly upsetting, considering they wanted to decrease the wires and the weird looks. But you are going to have an iMac, and it is going to have dongles hanging from it. Unless, of course, you just keep everything networked. The keyboard, trackpad, and/or mouse all match the color of the iMac that you get, and the lightning cable that comes with it for charging is braided, which is something I feel they should have done a very long time ago.
What is the price of the iMac?
The starting price of the iMac is, let's see here, it starts at $12.99. That is using their new M1 processor that is ARM-based, has 8 gigs of RAM, which I feel they could have at least started at 12 in today's age.
So what you're telling me is that this isn't worth it.
At 256 gigs of storage. Well, the thing is, all the technology is, the entire board and everything is at the base of that screen. And considering how hot the M1 already gets, as we found out that these computers are designed to emergency shut off at 121 Celsius. For those of you that don't know, 100 Celsius is boiling point. 121 Celsius is, well, beyond boiling point and very hot. The cooling does not go up. It actually blows down and out the back. So I guess it can act as a hand warmer.
Yeah, perspective, 121 Celsius is 250 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes. It is very hot. And that's
That's
what their
you bake a
MacBooks
pizza.
are turning off of. So you could technically, if you keep a task and cooling just right enough on a MacBook, you could set the screen to do nothing when you close it, flip it over, and fry an egg on it. It is extremely possible at 110 Celsius.
It just it doesn't seem like it's worth that much money to me, honestly.
Yeah, you would imagine that they dropped the board down a bit, and how the screen technology is just about the same as the previous iMacs. And the MacBook Air, on top of that, has the same hardware and is cheaper with a better screen, just on a smaller form factor. You would think this would be much cheaper, especially a little bit closer to the material cost of these new iMacs are much less than before. So downgrading for a higher price, kind of a downgrade. I call it a downgrade because honestly, feasibly, I don't see these lasting that long.
Yeah.
I feel like heat is going to be the main killer of these because it's a very small board. It's all at the base of the screen.
Is this whole like all-in-one PC thing new for Apple?
No, because they've always been doing that. They've always had iMacs. That's actually how most of them have been. The original Macintosh.
Uh-huh.
It was all they essentially started the all-in-one. In a major perspective, they had other systems like that, IBM, Microsoft, but the biggest one that stood out was the Macintosh.
Right.
Having everything built into the CRT at the time.
Okay.
And then they came out with the MacBook, and then they made iMac, which was essentially the upgraded Macintosh that they made.
Okay.
Going on, I guess, from this, again, I just don't feel like it's going to be that reliable. When the time comes, we've seen quite a few MacBooks already come back with these new M1 chips, and it is hasn't been doing that great so far.
Right.
But they are releasing patches every day to try and fix whatever issues they run into. Next topic I have here is Chrome.
What's going on with
Not
Chrome?
so much of a surprise. It's crashing worldwide on Windows 10 PCs. I don't know. I've seen it a lot at work. I'm sure some people will see it. There is a temporary fix. They say it is caused by a corrupted user data folder, and you can just rename the folder to something else or add .back to it or anything like that and relaunch Chrome. Prior to doing this, you do want to open up Task Manager and close out all Chrome processes, so even the extensions. It will all just say Google Chrome. And the path to your user data folder, I don't know, we'll probably throw something in the description on the YouTube posting and have a link to it, but you can fix this by renaming your user data folder and then relaunching Chrome and having it create a new user data folder.
Right.
Because the corruption lies in that folder, is where it's stemming from. And even with the released updates, it can't update in the background, which is therefore it's locking Chrome up indefinitely. Some people are managing to get through with just simply restarting the computer, but then after they close Chrome again, they can't reopen it. So it's more like a soft lock on Chrome's end. It's not end all be all, but the issue stems from the user data folder.
Okay.
The last topic here is Tesla. This has been a thing that's been ongoing. And actually, we were talking about this a moment ago. This Tesla issue, this is actually something slightly different. One issue that Tesla had was in relation to third-party repairs. When you run third-party repairs, if Tesla detects any sort of if it hasn't been a repair made by their technicians, if they detect that or get any sort of proof, they actually disable supercharging on your Tesla. That is almost like, I don't know, disabling all the cylinders in your cars except for one. That cripples your car. Because supercharging, that's what it comes down to. So with Teslas, you have charging and you have supercharging. They are both significantly different. Supercharging with today's standards, I believe they're still on 3. Or I guess I can say 3 plus because they keep modifying it or keep upgrading it. You can charge your Tesla in like 40 minutes, which is insane. I mean, that is like thousands of watts.
Right.
Thousands of watts, hundreds to maybe thousands of amps a minute, just like going into your car, charging hundreds of cells. Without supercharging, you're talking about fully charging your car in a week. It is horribly slow and not practical. It does essentially render your car useless. Unless you're literally only driving a week, just once a week, and not a very long distance at that. What happened in Norway was not related to this, but an update causing cars to lose range. And it was range up to 11% worth of range. A lot of people started running graphs and things like that that extend out to the odometer. So you'll have, from 41,000 miles all the way up to 92,000 miles. In total, they've probably lost maybe 10 miles of range, which, given 50,000 miles, it's not bad at all.
Right.
And after the update let's see, so from 90,000 miles up to 130,000 miles, they lost another, probably like about 10 miles of range again. After the update, 2,000 miles in, they have lost about 30 to 40 miles in range. So either it is very severe degradation of the battery due to an update that's causing something wrong with charging or something that's damaging the cells, or the software is designed to just kill that range for some other reason that Tesla has not stated. And Norway courts have ruled that Tesla is now paying $16,000 payouts to thousands of people in Norway that have faced range degradation due to the most recent updates for their Teslas.
Right.
And that's pretty much that. Stopping at Tesla there.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting to think, that they would throttle in general, but I mean, it's this company.
It's kind of turning into the Apple of car companies there. You're locking repairs to your own dealerships, and now you're throttling everything behind.
Right.
Which is not a very good practice, especially in a time right now where everyone's fighting for right to repair. To have such a top grossing company also fight any sort of right to repair X. It's kind of a weird situation to look at right now.
Definitely, especially for a car company that's trying to build itself up to be the next replacement.
Right.
Okay. Well, now we're going to move on to the more section where Brian has some stuff for us. So, Brian, why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
Let Mac go first with Pokemon.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Been playing Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah, I mean it's been like a real trip, honestly. Trying to play all of them. It's I've noticed a lot of things that I did not I don't like right now that I used to just didn't care as a kid. Um the item the inventory mainly, like key items cost 1 inventory slot. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So little by little, you're getting less and less inventory, and there's nothing you can do about it because you need these items. Like, oh, I need this key to get into this building, and for some reason, you just keep the key, and it takes up an inventory slot, so it's a huge bitch. But I beat Red and Blue not as hard as I remember. They're actually, quite frankly, easy, but the dumb AI, like sometimes they'll just keep spamming a psychic move if they feel like it's strong against you, even if it doesn't do any damage or do anything in the long run, or even if they've already altered your stats as far as they could alter them, they'll just keep spamming the move. So very uneducated AI, but I mean, yeah, it's glitchy. I even encountered one on accident in red, nothing in blue. I mean, the story's relatively straightforward. Um, I'm on yellow now, and I'm doing a challenge where I get 6 Pokemon, and when whatever 6 Pokemon I use to beat the Elite Four, I cannot use those in any of the games that I play next. So, for example, on my red version, I beat the game with a Snorlax, Pidgeot, Graveler, Nidoking, Cloyster, and Charizard, and I can't use those on any of the games following suit. So with blue, I used Raticate, Wigglytuff, Golbat, Raichu, Blastoise, and Beedrill. And with Pokemon Yellow, I just boxed the Pikachu because I kind of want to use him in Let's Go Pikachu when and if I ever get there. Because I feel like he can do a lot more than just make faces at you and do kind of crack damage. So I'm hoping it'll be smooth. But again, that inventory really pisses me off. I can't explain how stressful it is having to throw away a full restore because you've already thrown away all your TMs, and you're even forced to use your rare candies in some instances. Maybe I'm just playing it wrong,
That
but
happened to me too.
exactly, like it's a bitch, let me tell you. Seriously, having to throw away shit, and I have to use my rare candies prematurely, but beating the game at level 40 seems a little weird because I remember training up to level 60 when I was a kid and still not being able to beat the Elite Four. I mean, granted, I was a kid, I was dumb, but I only use moves that would cause damage, and I do the same thing now. So
Was it
like,
the?
I
Is this
don't.
the only Pokemon game that does that?
With inventory, I'm not too sure. I know red, blue, and possibly yellow. I haven't
It's
run
the
into the issue yet
smallest
because I just
inventory.
started. Yeah, it's only like I don't know specifics, but I think it's only like 20, maybe 15 slots, and 4 of them are taken up by HM. Like 10 of them are taken up by straight up key items, if not 12. And it's horrible. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's very limiting than like most other games in
Yeah.
the series. But I'm gonna try to beat yellow, and then after that, move on to gold, silver, crystal.
Okay. So like I said, I mean, I've only ever played Emerald in that pixel art style. So
Yeah, it's not
uh,
bad.
how far do you have to go until you get to Emerald?
So after gold and silver, I do crystal. And then after that, I believe it's ruby, sapphire, then emerald, then fire red, and leaf green.
Fire Red and Leaf
So
Green.
yeah, the remakes of the original Kanto red and blue,
Okay.
which in Japan they released red and green, so it's kind of like it's for that. Um, but the remakes with Gen 3 graphics, like Emerald's graphics, but they remade it just for Gen 1.
Okay.
It's really well made, honestly. It's very well polished, considering the time. That was my second ever played, no, my third ever played Pokemon game.
I mean,
Red was
like
my first.
it's nice to see that you're going through like everything, like from start to finish.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
it's a
that's
little embarrassing because I work at an elementary school and I see a kid wearing a Pokemon shirt. I'll say, "Hey, I love your shirt." And they're like, "Oh, thanks." I'm like, "You like Pikachu a lot?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You ever play any of the games?" They say, "Yeah." I'm like, "You ever evolve your Pikachu into a Raichu?" And they're like, "What's that?" And then they list a Pokemon from like the 7th gen, and I have no idea what they're talking about because I stopped after 5.
Well, I
the
mean, like,
fifth gen Unova Black and White. That's where I stopped.
it's just the Pokemon that you grew up with, you know? Like,
Well, yeah,
the
but my knowledge after that's completely null and void.
well, I mean, at least you'll get to know them as you go throughout the games.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully to keep things interesting by playing the same game over and over because Gold, Silver, and Crystal are relatively just the same game, copy paste. Um, Hopefully with that limiter that I can't use the same Pokemon I've, it makes things a little bit more challenging. Use Pokemon that I wouldn't usually use. Instead of just doing a copy and paste for each game, it'll have some diversity and a little bit more challenge to it.
Right. Well, I mean, I have all the hope in the world that you'll be able to get through them all without
Yeah,
problems.
let's hope I have willpower. Alrighty, that's all I really have to say about that topic. I'll hand it off to Brian.
Okay, Brian. So, what's new in the movie world?
So this it's a zombie movie called Army of the Dead, and the the twist is that the zombies are actually smart, strong, and faster than humans, and they actually can breed.
They can
And
breed.
yeah,
Oh, that's different. That's a
and
twist.
the zombie infestation starts in Las Vegas, and somehow the government's able to keep it all in Las Vegas.
It makes sense that the
They
zombie apocalypse would start in Vegas.
they don't really say how, other than a big wall that they keep in. But what I really want to talk about is the scenario where it's this random guy stuck working at a burger joint during the zombie apocalypse, and he decides it's better to go into the zombie infested city of Las Vegas and steal loads of cash than to keep working at a burger joint. So I'm asking all of you, would you rather steal $50 billion from a zombie infested city vault or stay working at a burger joint for the rest of your life?
I mean, it's kind of weird though because wouldn't you think that money would be kind of useless at that given point in time? I mean,
Mm-mm.
currency would probably be abolished.
The zombies are stuck in Las Vegas,
It's okay. I mean,
but they could get out in the
oh,
future.
okay.
This is,
Yeah,
looking at this footage that you're sharing, Matt, it's weird to see zombies fucking ducking and weaving.
yeah, and the fact is that they're smarter, so like it's just it's a little strange concept. I wonder if like the more brains they eat, the smarter they get.
That's probably not a bad concept. You know, I'm pretty sure like the original concept for zombies in general is that they eat brains to absorb knowledge.
Or maybe
I'm
it's just a scary concept to, have your brain being eaten. I like to think it's just as dry as that, but
right.
it's not far-fetched to think more in depth about the concept and its origin.
I still think it's a pretty cool. It's an interesting concept to think about, though.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so next on the list is something that I've been watching and Yanni's been watching. Not sure if anybody else has been watching along with us, but we've been watching House MD, which is a pretty good show. It's an older show. Its final season aired in 2012, but
I had no idea it was that old.
yeah, it's the show is essentially this guy. His name is House. He's a uh, diagnostician, which means he deals with diseases that doctors can't figure out what's wrong with the patient. So he has to figure out what's wrong with them and he has to cure them. So the whole show is based around this guy who's a real asshole to everybody because he is constantly in pain. So he pops Vicodin every day, and he's just basically he's just an ass to everybody. And he has like a team of doctors that he works with. There's really interesting scenarios that happen in between cases, and the show has a lot of comedy moments and it has a lot of serious moments. And me personally, I like the structure of he gets this case. You don't know what the the patient has, like what disease they have. But over the course of the episode, you'll figure out like what's going on with them, and then you'll figure out what the actual disease is. Sometimes he can cure the patient, sometimes he can't. So it's really just kind of up to what disease they have. And I personally really like the show. I started watching clips of it like 2 years ago, and up until recently, I started watching it, and I'd say it's pretty good. If you have Amazon Prime, definitely check it out. What do you think about it, Yanni?
I mean, you pretty much covered all the bases. It's I don't know. It reminds me a lot of Good Doctor. I watched all the way through Good Doctor. I kind of joined you at the season 2, right out of season 2 on House.
Right.
Just something I'm definitely gonna go back and try and watch the beginning episodes though. Um, I don't know. I feel like if you liked Good Doctor, which is one of the more I think popular of the two, House is definitely gonna be right up your alley.
Of course.
And
So
if people don't know who Good Doctor is or what Good Doctor is, it's someone who has, I think it's autism. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have autism, and sometimes you'll say that someone has autism towards a certain thing. His is, I guess, human anatomy and how the body works. So he has like an ascended ability to find out issues that people can't figure out right away. He can kind of just envision it in his head, and figure out most things. He's not always right, but most things he does get down.
right. So I think that we've covered everything for this episode.
Yep.
We've gotten a good basis of E3's Nintendo Direct and the speculations behind it. We've talked about Invictus launch week for Star Citizen. We covered some of the ships available currently. Covered not the ships available tomorrow, but the company hosting tomorrow's event. Went over some of the Epic Mega sale stuff, the free games.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts being one of the sale games.
Ew.
There's a
Damn
lot
right.
more. There's a lot of other sale games available right now. We just listed some of the major ones. We went over some of the tech industry stuff with Yanni. Talked about some of the iMac issues, Google Chrome issues, and found out some more information on the Tesla court case going on with him being found guilty. So I think we covered everything for this episode. Next episode, we're going to cover a lot more topics with E3 and whatever's been going on since this episode aired. So I guess until then, if anybody has any final words.
No.
Thanks for
Have
the
a good
input,
time.
Brian.
Suicide is badass. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. Alrighty. Well, we will see you guys in the next episode. Stay safe. Don't do drugs.
Play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Damn it.